Okay, we're going to go into a little more detail about puzzle leveling for epoxy pouring. So you might think, oh, that looks pretty level, but it's not exactly level if you look on the right-hand side where the bubble is. And so I was going to show tonight the process you go through to get your puzzles level. So these are the two we're doing tonight, and we're doing this in the shop tonight instead of out on the basement kitchen island. And the reason we're doing that is that I don't want to huff these fumes tomorrow when I work out. So Cameron is going to start shimming to get things level. And you do that so that your epoxy, the pour goes more smoothly. Okay, so that was quick, because that's pretty level. It's almost there.
Now it's off a little bit side to side.
Where do you see that, honey? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oops.
Someday I'll have to build a jig that does this and makes it easier. That's too much.
I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, okay. Let's watch the bubble. It's moving a little.
I think that's about as close as we'll get that one.
Yeah, okay. All right, so on this other one, the bubble's way off, as you can see. So he's going to shim that. You can see that he was on a CNC router bit buying spree in the background. He still hasn't organized those because we're always doing something different. Oh, that looks good, honey. Are we okay that way?
Yeah, it's off a little bit.
Okay, and it bears mentioning that these are wood puzzles by Nautilus out of Northern California. Great company, really customer-centric focus, and they license beautiful art. So you can see that we've already sealed these with Mod Podge, so you can see how shiny that is. You can see that that glue is all there, and the epoxy will make it smooth, hopefully. That's the objective anyway. All right, so we're back, and the distortion in the sound is because we're both wearing respirators, and so it's not as great. We are doing 3-ounce pours for each of the puzzles, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio. We're using Total Boat deep pour, epoxy, and hardener. The tabletop, that's part B. And this stuff is really like super clear, as you've seen with the other puzzles. So he's doing the pour now. And you have to mix it for what, 3 minutes, honey?
Yeah.
Okay. You definitely want to get that off there. And you want to get these ratios right, or else it won't harden correctly. Won't work the way you want it to. Okay. All right, and there's a really great resin calculator online. It's at artresin.com, ARTRESIN.com. And you just enter in the dimensions of what you're trying to pour, and it calculates it for you. Super helpful. Even if you're not using art resin, their epoxy, it works for Total Boat as well. So now the stirring. This is very important. It's a 3-minute.
Yeah, it's a good rule of thumb.
Pardon?
It's a good rule of thumb.
Good rule of thumb. Okay, so I'll come back to you when we start the actual pour and the spreading. Okay, we're back and we're ready to pour. I just wanted to show how viscous and thick this is. We thought it would be a lot runnier than it is, but it's...
It is actually kind of thin for epoxy.
You think so? Looks thick to me in the cup. But okay, we've mixed and mixed, and it's very bubbly. You can see how cloudy that is in there. So we're gonna have to torch it. But here we go. And we've learned that that calculator is pretty on target. There's maybe just a little bit of waste that pours over the sides, but that's not always a bad thing either.
I actually ended up mixing a little bit. I ended up mixing about 3.5 ounces instead of 3.
Oh, 3.5. So we are going to have more extra then.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to measure that part A because it is thick.
Okay.
So it's sometimes hard to get it right on.
All right.
So I ended up accidentally putting a little bit extra of the part A. So I adjusted by adding extra of the part B.
Right. And we keep equal amounts. All right. And you said that you thought that maybe we made a mistake with what we thought the working time was on the last video.
Yes, it says on the package to only mix up what you can work with in 10 minutes.
Okay.
I think the working time is probably longer than that because it still hasn't set, but according to the package, we should only be working it for about 10 minutes.
Okay. So 10 minutes working time, give or take, probably give. Anybody who's ever done any tile work is familiar with this kind of a tool for grout and even mortar. So this is the spreader. You definitely want to make sure you get all the way to the edge. Get in all the crevices. I'm trying to show how shiny that is. And it still is bubbly. You can see it's, I don't know, maybe you can't see, but yeah, see, you can see those bubbles for sure. So we've got to get all that out with the torch, but that's a really good view against the black of how bubbly this stuff really is and why you definitely need to torch it. And again, we're using butane again tonight. Do we have any thoughts about using propane, a propane torch? What do you think?
I think whichever is fine. All you're trying to do is produce some heat on the epoxy, so they should both work fine.
Okay. Back when Cameron and I first met, he was building an airplane, a biplane, and he had a TIG welder and an acetylene welder. And which one did you teach me how to use? Was it
The TIG.
the TIG welder? Okay. Now, not that my welds were great, but, you know, it was really kind of cool to try something like that. Cameron's welds were a lot prettier, of course. All right. I love hummingbirds. We watched a really interesting documentary about them. I learned a lot about them. They're fascinating little creatures. Do you need me to move the light at all to direct it?
No.
No?
I'm almost done. I just seen a couple spots that need a little extra.
Okay. Jack's watching over you tonight, so you should feel safe. Okay. So you can see there's a lot of time spreading, trying to even things out. There is some self-leveling with this epoxy, but you want to make sure you're covered. Time for the torch.
Yeah, just over here.
Oh, all right. So one last look at how bubblicious this is. Lots of bubbles into that area. Ooh, lots of bubbles. Okay. So just as a reminder to anyone else who has never done this before but is thinking about doing it, when you're working with the torch, you have to keep moving it constantly, like Cameron is doing. And we haven't been able to get 100% of all of our bubbles out. Again, we're still learning, and we're here to try and share with you, what we've learned and mistakes we've made and what has gone right and what hasn't. So let's see.
And give it a few minutes too. Like the other puzzle, there were bubbles coming up between the
Oh yeah, that's
pieces
right.
a few times. So
That's right. It looks like there's something right over there, like right by that flower petal.
Yeah.
It's like a white thing there.
Be careful your sleeve.
Oh yeah. I don't want to get stuck to the puzzle and never get out. We do have some dripping happening, but again, we're on a silicone mat, so that's fine. That'll peel right off. You ready to go again?
I'm actually seeing bubbles coming up and popping.
Really?
Yeah. Right around in this black area.
Huh. Let's see if I can capture any of that. I do see the bubbles though. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of bubbles. Look.
No, I'll torch it again, but I can see them actually popping.
Oh, there's a ton over here. It's cloudy. Okay. I think it needs probably a lot more torching. What about distance? Are you close enough, far enough?
I'm guessing. I mean, I can see bubbles pop as I go over. I don't want to get too close and burn a hole in it.
I think up in that upper right-hand corner, we still have stuff going on.
That's some yellow shading, I think, but maybe not. I cleared up some.
Yeah, no, but look, can you see through the lens?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bubbles there. Oh, we have a lot. They're all over. I think we need a lot more torching. Maybe.
Well, they're not. I don't know that they're bubbles because they're not coming up as I torch it.
Do you think maybe you're going too fast for them to pop?
I don't think so, but
You can really see it on the black. On the color, you can't see it as well.
I do see a lot of it.
Yeah. It's definitely there. What do we do? What do we do? I don't see it changing.
I don't either, so I think we're stuck with it. I wonder if it's actually bubbles in the other glue.
In the glue? Maybe.
Yeah, because those aren't going to come out if they're in there. So that might be what it is.
Okay. Well, all right, folks. That's where we are. On to the next one.